Yes, people. How are we all doing? Welcome welcome all back to the channel. Back to the new little setup I got going on. What are you saying, people? What are you saying? Took a fair little bit of effort this to get it going. Yes, people. How are we all doing? Welcome welcome all. And you'll be seeing to the channel stuff going along the bottom there. And you got the new little setup I got going on. They'll be updated every stream. What are you saying, people? Stuff. When I'm bringing guests on, they'll be updated with.
Took a fair little bit of effort this to get it going.
Yes, people. How are we all doing? Welcome on. I have to make my channel. Back to the channel. I'm finally stuff going on the bottom there. But the new little setup I got going on, they'll be updated every stream. What you saying, people? Stuff. I realise that the stream's playing twice over there. Enough about me and enough about this discussion. We need to talk about Liverpool versus Fulham, a game which has caused a lot of what should we say, confusion, discussion. Wait there. Yeah, I think I've fixed it now. I just had, because I've got to have the stream up on my second monitor. I think it was just double playing. Let me know if that's fixed now, people. But obviously, on the weekend, we went out. We have Fulham at home, and it was never going to be an easy game. Let's be 100% honest here. Fulham, good side, good side. So it was never going to be the easiest of games. Getting results against Fulham, but we need to look at it as it was. First 15 minutes couldn't have went much worse. Not solely down to our doing, but yes, first 15 minutes couldn't have went much worse. Go 1-0 down, Andy Robertson sent off. So we're down to 10 men for at least 75 minutes now. But the effort, the fight, the desire, the work rate, what I saw from those players on Saturday gave me more belief that we could win this title than any game since we played City. Genuinely, that Fulham 2-2 draw is a game that's given me belief that we can win this title more so than most other games. Genuinely. I think it's such a big thing for us. Such a big thing for us to get that result there. Because you've got to look at it. Fulham have taken points off of Arsenal with 11 players. Fulham are a team that are probably going to get top half this season. They're a team that are hard to break down at the best of times when you've got 11 men. We were down to 10 for 75 minutes. Ryan Gravenberch ended up having to play centre-back. And my God, did he do it well. My God, did Ryan Gravenberch play centre-back well. But we need to discuss, before we get on to Liverpool, we need to discuss, the referee, because we don't want games like this, and we don't want title races to be marred by referees. But whether we like it or not, it's what happens. And it's what happened on Saturday. First 10 minutes, it's a D-up on Andy Robertson. Injures Andy Robertson. And gets away with the yellow card. Now that's probably one which is on the cusp, but you can understand why he's got a yellow. You can understand why he's got a yellow out of it. It's a bit unlucky. This, that, and the other. Yellow. But 10-minute mark, Andres Pereira stamps on Ryan Gravenberch's calf, rakes down to the Achilles. About as stonewall a red card as you could get. About as stonewall a red card as you could get. Stonewall. Couldn't be more obvious that is a red card. And the ref gives a yellow. To rub it in, 2 minutes later, the man who should have been sent off, Andres Pereira, goes and scores, putting us 1-0 down. Which, massively disappointing to go 1-0 down. But sometimes it happens. It is what it is type thing. But we work that. We bounce off that. We go 1-0 down. We've shown fight this season. We've shown brilliant spirit so far this season. We can come back. 3 minutes after that, 3-4 minutes after that, Andy Robertson gets himself sent off. Now, watching it at the time, and watching it with emotion there, I had a lot of anger. I thought it was an obvious red card. I thought it was stupid from Robertson, a poor mistake, a rash decision. He's cost us, and his time at the football club, at the very top level, is probably coming to an end. And whilst I'm not necessarily disagreeing with that last point, I'm not necessarily disagreeing with it, ultimately, the more I watch it back and the more news comes out about it, the more I feel like that was another poor decision. So if you haven't seen today, Dale Johnson is the guy who works at ESPN. He does the VAR breakdown every week. And he's come out and said that ultimately the VAR got it wrong because there's no goal-scoring opportunity there because of Harry Wilson's poor touch. And the touch occurs before Robertson makes the foul, so that is a legal touch. It's not caused by Andy Robertson. Therefore, you judge it off Harry Wilson's touch. That touch takes him into the path of Virgil van Dijk. I mean, logically, you just need to look at the fact that his touch ended up being a pass for Jimenez. And that's an entirely separate argument. What I'm on about now is factual. The factual way of applying the law. The factual way of applying the law is Harry Wilson's touch was bad. And Virgil van Dijk could have got back to recover, therefore it wasn't denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. The logical thing is, what goal-scoring opportunity did Andy Robertson deny? Because Raul Jimenez had a fucking shot. There was no goal-scoring opportunity that he denied, but because Dogso works on the basis of the player, not the team, which I think is a flawed metric anyway, he gets away. It means that Raul Jimenez, despite being one-on-one and then fucking his chance up, gets away with it because Dogso on Harry Wilson, even though it wasn't even Dogso on Harry Wilson. It's all flawed. But you know how Mr. Coots fucked us up? Mr. Coot fucked us over with the wonderful, fantastic decisions that he made on that video. And everyone's reaction, well, rival fans' reaction was, Liverpool are going to get all the decisions now. I'd love to know when these decisions are going to start happening. I'd love to know when we're going to start getting all these decisions, because that on the Saturday is one of the worst officiating performances of the season. Genuinely one of the worst. And there's been teams around us this season who have moaned about officiating and said, it's going to cost us in the title race. It's going to be the reason we don't win the title. If you want to see officiating directly influence the title race, games like Saturday are where it happens. Not getting a red card because you've boosted the ball away. Games like yesterday, or Saturday, sorry. Games like Saturday, where 3-4 decisions, stonewall decisions, blatant decisions, go against you. It blows my mind. It really does blow my mind. And that's another good point, HDS. Robertson is in control of his touch that he makes. Therefore, the offside is negated. If Robertson had slipped, or if it wasn't a deliberate attempt to play the ball by Robertson, then the offside would have been warranted, or the offside check would have been warranted. Doing the offside check is flawed because Robertson makes a deliberate play for the ball, therefore he brings Harry Wilson back in, even if he was offside, which he's not. Big ups my guy, LFC Aaron as well. Listen to him, hit the like button. Hit the like button, people. And yes, this is the other one that needs to talk about. So, Second half, we've just made it 1-1. Szoboszlai won the little nutmeg on Sanderberg, drives forward, plays it over to Gakpo. Gakpo cuts inside, has a shot, and it's saved. But whilst Gakpo's having a shot, Kenny Tete has basically just rugby tackled Joe Gomez to the floor. Now, we need to apply logic. We need to apply logic when it comes to officiating. We need to apply logic when it comes to decision making as referees and stuff. How the fuck is that not a penalty? If that's not a penalty, what is? If that's not a penalty, what is? Just because Joe Gomez doesn't have the ball. So does that mean that, you know, we're allowed to just do whatever we want against a person as long as they don't have the ball? At the end of the day, like, so free kicks. Let's have a look at free kicks. You can give away a penalty, as we saw last season. Man United, Man City. You can give away a penalty when the ball doesn't go to someone by fouling them. Now, the argument that they've made for the Kenny Tete one is that it was he was trying to block the ball. He didn't mean to foul him. Andy Robertson didn't mean to kick Harry Wilson. Still did it. Still got sent off. Let's go to Wolves this season. Wolves versus Bournemouth. Jose Sarr gave away 2 penalties for getting the ball nicked off his feet and then kicking. He didn't mean to kick Evan Ealston. He meant to kick the ball. But he didn't. So the penalty was given. Intent has never mattered. Intent is not how we decide on a decision. That is not how it's decided. Intent is not used as the barometer. Except when it's Liverpool. Except when it's Liverpool. And you cannot even calculate intent properly because you're not Kenny Tete. Whether you like it or not, you are not Kenny Tete. So you don't know what the intent was. Now, it looks like he's going to block the ball. He gets nowhere near it, to be fair. But it looks like he's going to block the ball. Doesn't take away from the fact that he's taken out Joe Gomez. It's a foul. It's a foul. Because you know what? You cannot say what would have happened if Gomez hadn't been obstructed. If Gomez hadn't been fouled, you can't say what could have happened. For all we know, Gomez could have followed the shot in. Leno, seeing a guy running in, could have spilt it. Joe Gomez scores. It goes both ways. But for me, I always thought the advantage went to the attacker in this situation. I just don't know how they cannot give that as a penalty, really. But we talk about the referees enough. I want to talk about 9 of those 11 players. 9 of those 11 players left their heart out on that pitch. Absolutely fantastic. Alisson made a really big save at the end against Adama Traore. He is just an element of calm. I don't really think there's much you can do for either goal, in all fairness. Virgil van Dijk, great. Again, not much he can do for either goal. Any defending he has to do, we've done exceptionally well. Was a figurehead to have at the back. You know, massively important for us. Joe Gomez. I've seen a lot of stick for Joe Gomez across the past week and a half, which is wild to me. Absolutely wild to me. Makes zero sense. Joe Gomez is the kind of guy you need if you want to win titles. I thought he was brilliant against Fulham. Didn't put a foot wrong. And he had to go from centre-back. He done a shift over on the right. He done a shift over on the left. He done everywhere across that defence. He's the kind of guy you need in title races because of that flexibility. And he showed it against Fulham that he can go in any position in that defence and do a job for you and help you out and get you a long way to a result. Ryan Gravenberch. Ryan Gravenberch. Oh my God. Unbelievable footballer. Going into the season, there was a lot of doubts about Ryan, and I had my doubts. I called him Cupman last year. Only turned up in the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup. But wow, this year under Arnie Slot, that man is revitalised. That man looks like a brand new person. That man has so much confidence, so much belief, so much energy about himself, so much quality in every aspect of his game. It's ridiculous. It truly is ridiculous. I'm in love with Ryan Gravenberch. I think he's caused a massive dilemma for the football club in terms of recruitment, which is the kind of dilemma that you want your club to have. Absolutely brilliant. And he showed that different part of his game on Saturday, filling in at centre-half. Is there anything that man can't do? Is there anything Ryan Gravenberch cannot do on the football pitch? Ridiculous footballer. So much love, so much energy for that man. The passion, the quality on the ball, the quality without the ball. You know, I had my doubts about his off the ball work. You know, if you remember last year, I always used to say, for a man who's 6'4", he doesn't win any headers. He wins his duels now. He wins his aerial duels now. Whatever Arnie Slot has done with him, whatever Arnie Slot and that coaching staff have done with him, deserves massive credit, because they've taken what was Liverpool's 5th choice midfielder last season. Trying to think. Yeah, he will have been 5th choice midfielder last season. They've taken him and turned him into the best midfielder in the league. Like that. And the fact he's still so young, the fact that there's still so much of his football career left, should only excite Liverpool fans. I feel privileged that I get to watch this form of Ryan Gravenberch every week. It's exceptional. One of the best versions of a midfielder I've ever seen at Liverpool. Genuinely one of the best versions of a midfielder I've seen at Liverpool. Speaking of midfielders, Dominic Szoboszlai. The man can run for 3 people. The man can work for 3 people. Absolutely vital. I think that what needs to happen with Dominic, because there's always going to be a debate around Dominic Szoboszlai and his place in Liverpool and in the team. I think what you saw on Saturday is a role which Szoboszlai should probably end up playing in more for Liverpool. As that other guy in the pivot. In that deeper role, I think you see a lot of Dominic Szoboszlai. I really do. I think you see the best of his work rate, the best of his energy, whilst also taking away what is a weakness in terms of his inconsistency. That's the word I'm looking for. Is inconsistency in the final third. You take that away by playing him deeper, and you just let him focus on his fantastic engine, his fantastic physicality, his great dribbling, and his good eye for a pass to progress through the lines. Massively impressed by Dominic Szoboszlai. I think that's where he needs to play in the future. And for me, a lot of my business in the summer would revolve around the fact that Dominic Szoboszlai would move to more of an 6'8" than playing as the 10. I really would. Curtis Jones, again, just so calm, so assured in possession, wins his duels. He's not the flashiest midfielder in the world, Curtis Jones, but he does the job and he keeps the team ticking over. And I thought again on Saturday he done that again, and it was important. You know, when we have to drop Ryan Gravenberch into defence, you need your midfield down a man to be more assured, and Curtis Jones gave that. And we get to the front three. Now, Luis Diaz probably had the worst game. Probably had the worst game out the front three. I mean, he was the only one who didn't end up with a goal contribution, but he missed a big chance at the end of the first half with the header. People have been getting onto him about the one right at the end of the game where, you know, he could have passed to Salah, but I think people need to realise how quick everything moves on the football pitch. ultimately, there wasn't much that he could do in that moment. It's a split-second decision, and not many. I can't think of any players in the world who do pick out that pass in that situation. So I am going to cut him a bit of slack there, but I am disappointed with the chance he missed in the first half, and I felt, Luis Diaz false nine is something that can work. As we've seen this season, it can work really well against the likes of Leverkusen and against the likes of Manchester City. Against teams who are willing to give you a bit of space. Against teams who want to go at you. Fulham isn't one of those teams. But I do think we were kind of shoehorned into a spot because of the form of Darwin Núñez going into the game and the reaction that he was getting. Cody Gakpo, solid, brilliant goal again. 7 in his last 10. If you know me, you know what I've said about Liverpool's best front three since about February of last year. Since about February of last year, I have said and I have maintained that Liverpool's best front three, undoubtedly, is Gakpo off the left, Salah off the right, Diogo Jota through the middle. And I can't help but feel like all Saturday did was strengthen that belief. All Saturday did was strengthen that belief that Gakpo, Jota, Salah is your best front three. It's your front three which gives you the most quality in the final third, the most consistency in the final third, whilst also having the best link up in the final third. Cody Gakpo is a fantastic creator. Mohamed Salah is the best creator in the league. Diogo Jota is probably the best link up striker that we've got. You've got to factor all them in together. Those three as a front three gives your midfield more license to go. Is it the one weakness that it does have is it's not the greatest at pressing. It's not. But if you have a Szoboszlai in behind them, because whilst I do think that Szoboszlai's future might lie deeper, that's not going to be this year. So you've got to work around that. If that's not going to be this year, Dominic Szoboszlai is still going to be your 10. Therefore, you can use his pressing. If you put Szoboszlai with Jota, Gakpo and Salah, that for me is your best front three. And I don't see how anyone can argue with that. I really don't. I don't know how anyone can argue Diaz over Gakpo, and I don't know how anyone can argue Núñez over Jota. The issue that we have is Diogo Jota cannot stay fit. If Diogo Jota can somehow give me 2-3 months of every game, it would drag the title. And that's what I mean. So I'll get through Salah because I think Salah had a quieter game, but he was still Mohamed Salah. He was still incredibly effective. I mean, Anthony Robinson's got a lot of plaudits for Saturday, and he had a great attacking display, but he got a lot of plaudits for locking up Mohamed Salah. Mohamed Salah got a fantastic assist, probably one of the best of the season. I don't think people understand how difficult a cross that is. And he also beat Anthony Robinson like 4 or 5 times. Now, just because players behind him defended, or the players that he passed to didn't take the chance, doesn't mean it didn't happen. Mohamed Salah was great. Not his best game, but he was great. He was effective, and he was what we needed on the day. So I don't see where this narrative that Salah had a bad game is come from. But yes, we need to talk about the reaction of the fan base, because I think people need to get a grip of themselves. Honestly, really, wholeheartedly get a grip of themselves, and especially this man here, Mr. Ryan. Now, one thing you need to understand, Ryan. One thing you need to understand, Ryan, is I always keep receipts. I always keep receipts. So, if I go to Saturday, At 7:32, Ryan messages me, title done. Results are results, and that's 2 games without winning the league. And then he said Chelsea are the biggest rivals for the title. If they win their next 2 league games, they're above us. And then we get to me arguing that we've got games in hand, we're all right there. And then Ryan says, nope, I don't think we beat either. Everton we won't beat, Spurs we won't beat. Just don't think we'll win the league. Chelsea or City IMO. Simple, they're better teams than us. And once again, that night said Chelsea are better than us. So, you don't think we can win this league, Ryan? You think Chelsea are better than us? You think that dropping points in 2 games means that the title's gone? As you can see alongside me, we've got a league table there. We are 2 points clear with a game in hand. We've drawn less games than Chelsea. We've lost less games than Chelsea. We've won more games than Chelsea. I don't see why all of a sudden the fan base has shit the bed. I don't know why people in the fan base have shit the bed because we've drawn 2 games in vastly different circumstances. The Fulham game was a draw because of shit refereeing and a tremendous fight back from the boys. The Newcastle game was a draw because a goalkeeper who had been fantastic for 2 months fucked up. We were a refereeing decision and a free kick claim away from 2 wins. We are not playing horrendously bad like people would want you to make out. Newcastle away is a tough game. Teams around us have went there. In fact, I can be entirely honest. Liverpool drawing 3-3 at Newcastle this season is probably the best result any big team has got there so far. Arsenal lost. Chelsea got the Carabao Cup because they lost at St James's Park. Manchester City drew 1-1 and it loss. So, all that considered, we done well there. Fulham. Now, City beat them 3-2 with 11 men. Arsenal drew 1-1, but away from home. I don't think Chelsea have played them yet this season. I'll double check, but I don't know if Chelsea have played Fulham yet this season. I feel like I would remember if they had done. I really do feel like I would remember if they had played Chelsea this season. I can't see them. I don't think they have done. If I go down, yep, Chelsea play Fulham on Boxing Day. So we have no idea how Chelsea will do something. We have no idea how Chelsea will do with it. So we've just got to keep going. We're in a good spot, people. We're in a good spot. We were never going to win every single game to end the season. In the same way, Chelsea aren't going to win every single game to end the season. Let's be honest. Let's be completely honest with ourselves, people. That don't mean not right. Okay. That don't mean nothing. You still need to win your game, and I may lose that. Still only 2 points clear. Did you not do maths in school? I did. What I have is confidence in my team. And what I have is a belief that this spell of form, that this blip of form, which is 2 draws against 2 very tough opposition, is not going to spiral our season, because I've got to bear in mind that those teams that we're battling with still have to play these tough games as well. They're still tough games for everyone to play. We've come off the back of an incredibly tough run of 12, 13 games. Probably the toughest run of 12 games any top team has had this season, where you're going back to 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 back. The only decent game in there was Southampton. Fulham, good team. Newcastle, good team. Who else in there? Chelsea, Arsenal, City, Madrid, Leverkusen, Leipzig, Villa, Brighton again. We've come off the back of one of the toughest runs you could ask for in a season. And we've come through it with 3 draws, 9 wins, and 0 losses. And people are shitting the bed. People are shitting the bed. Why? Seriously, people, why? And this, without PTSD from previous title races, there was a big factor in previous title races that isn't there now. There was a massive shark in the water in previous title races who have now got 1 win in 11 now and have resigned to not winning this title. The PTSD from previous title races was in regards to Manchester City. It was in regards to Manchester City. They're not in this one now. They are not in this title race. Their team is too damaged. Their mentality is too short. We have to think about the other teams. Do I back my team in a title race against Chelsea? Yes. Do I back my team in a title race against Arsenal? Yes. If you were to ask me, do I back my team against Manchester City in a title race? That is a different argument. But ultimately, I look at my squad, I've got more winners. I look at my squad, I've got more world-class players. I look at my manager, I have the only manager out of all 3 teams to have actually won a fucking league title, or a top division league title, and Tom has got a championship if you want to include that. We are in a good spot. We are in a good spot, people. And I want us to understand that it's not the end of the world. I want us to understand that wobbles and poor results can happen, but they don't intrinsically lead to a fall-off of imaginable proportions. This is not a Jurgen Klopp team. Let's not judge it by Jurgen Klopp standards. And that is not me saying that Jurgen Klopp was a bad manager. That is not me saying Jurgen Klopp was this, Jurgen Klopp was that, yada yada yada, before anyone tries to take this and run it over to fucking Hassam or something. This is not me saying that. I am simply saying that Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp had a knack for falling off in title races because they expunged a bunch of energy. Right, let's get to this one because I think this is a good point. Who will Chelsea drop points to other than the big 6? Sam, if we go through their fixtures, they've got to play Everton away, Fulham, Crystal Palace away, Bournemouth, Man City away, Brighton away, Villa away, Arsenal away, Tottenham at home, Brentford away, Fulham away, Liverpool at home, Newcastle away, United at home, Forest away. All them teams are good teams who've got results off of good sides this season. It is not out the realms of possibility that Chelsea go away to Fulham and drop points. It's not out the realm of possibility that Chelsea go away to Brighton and drop points. It's not out the realms of possibility that Chelsea go away to the team with the best home record in the Premier League this season in Brentford and drop points. They very nearly dropped points yesterday. If Fabio Carvalho wasn't a little fucking donut who hit the bar from 3 yards out, Chelsea dropped points to Brentford at home. Chelsea are not this invincible team. Chelsea are not this impenetrable team. Chelsea are not Manchester City of 2017 who will get 100 points. They're not. Chelsea are a young team who are playing very well, but they are a young team with flaws that they themselves will admit. We have flaws. Arsenal have flaws. It's just about who can manage their flaws better. Now, Chelsea have one big advantage, and that is the fact that they have Conference League, so they can afford to only play 1 game a week effectively. But I feel that swings in both ways. I really do. And I think that will come to fruition as we get later on the season. We will help you out on the 3 points though, Tom, because we are shit. We beat Newcastle, no excuses. Yeah. You know, Newcastle don't necessarily turn up against the bad teams at home. No, I'll be honest, West Ham away's always been a game that's annoyed me. It's always been a game that's bothered me because you can get something out of it. I mean, last year we drew, but I think that it was pretty done there, so here's what it is. Liverpool are the luckiest team ever. Cuzzy, mate, did you watch what happened on Saturday? Did you? Because I think if you watched that game, you wouldn't call us lucky. My God, would you not call us lucky if you watched what went against us in that game? But sure. Chelsea give me Leicester vibes. What people need to remember is that Leicester season was on the basis of pretty much every team bar Arsenal and Tottenham had no pedigree anyway, underperforming. Chelsea finished 12th, Liverpool finished 8th or 6th, 8th or 6th I think. United finished 5th and Man City finished 4th, but ways away. Leicester capitalised where the big teams around them didn't. Liverpool have had one of the best starts to a Premier League season ever. For me, that's not a sign of a team that's underperforming. I think you just need to look at it in that way. Tom, is Gravenberch still better than Caicedo? Yes. I'm going to say that because yes, Caicedo had a good game against Brentford. Gravenberch played centre back and defensive midfield at the same time and was faultless. What position do we need reinforcing the most? I think left back, centre back, and DM. I think you need to value it in different ways. So for me, left back, you need minimum 1. Centre back is probably bottom of the list if you can keep Joe Gomez. DM would completely wrap up the midfield. Forward line, I think you need minimum 1, but probably 2. Minimum 1, but probably 2. I'll put it this way. In my ideal world, across the next 2 windows, I would buy... I was looking for... because I've got it written down somewhere, but I think I remember it off the top of my head. Across the next 2 windows, I'd like to have Matheus Cunha, Omar Marmoush, Milos Kerkez, and Zubimendi. And you sell Tsimikas, you sell Endo, you sell Morton, you sell Nunes. You sell 4, you bring 4 in. I think that, for me, would make our squad pretty much perfect. Obviously, then you'd look at getting your succession plan in place for Andy Robertson, which, if you're asking me, and you're asking a person who likes the academy prospects, it'd be Owen Beck. I think he's impressed at Blackburn this year. I think he could benefit from a Premier League loan next year and then be in a position to contribute for the Liverpool team. Centre-back wise, I still have confidence in Quansah to turn it round. I think this is what happens with young players. I think people forget that young players sometimes go through blips of form. It's fine. I'd keep Joe Gomez. I think Joseph Gomez is a massively important piece. So that for me, centre back. If you bring one in, you bring one in, and I'm not against it. But I'm thinking that you, as long as you sign Van Dijk up to 2 years minimum, you can push centre back away at least for another summer. Because you've got to remember as well, you got Nalo as well, who's very, very highly thought of in the academy. That gives you 5 options. So for me, that's how I'd line it up. Big ups to Liam Belson for the super chat, much appreciated, mate. Need to see more Sobo prop massively improved. I agree. I think since Southampton away, you've seen a real different side to Szoboszlai. You got the confidence in that Southampton goal, and he hasn't looked back. And when he's playing like he played against Fulham, he's so important for this team. Liverpool bought Chiesa. How many attackers do you need? I look at it this way. Liverpool play a 4-man attack. So your 10 is effectively joining your attack. So in that case, I feel like you need 8. I feel like you need 8. You need 2 for the right, 2 for the left, 2 up top, 2 for the 10. Now in my eyes, that would be Salah, Chiesa for the right, Gakpo, Diaz for the left, Marmoush, Nunes, Marmoush, Jota up top, Cunha, Elliott in the 10. And then you can have Szoboszlai be an all-round flexible option. He can play in the pivot, he can play as the 10, he can play on the right, he can play on the left. And that, for me, would give you very secure attacking options. Hopefully Zubimendi wants us because of the City trial, uncertainty and their slump. Chelsea already have DMs. Glad Lavia is injured. How long is that Lavia injury? If you say Gravenberch is better than Caicedo, that means we can give Gravenberch the same comparison Caicedo's given with Kante. Mate, you are a joker. Why are you comparing Caicedo with Kante? Kante is levels above Caicedo. Caicedo is very good. N'Golo Kante is one of the best defensive midfielders of all time. Caicedo is not at that level. And why would you compare a guy... Yes, they play the same position, but they play it so differently. Would I say Kante and Fabinho are comparable? No. Because they're two different builds, they're two different types of player. Yes, they play the same position, but they play in a different way. Gravenberch is taller. He's more focused on beating a man with his physical body and turning out of tackles and stuff like that. Why would I compare Gravenberch to Kante? That's not a comparison that you'd make, because they're not the same type of player. Draws will cost us same under Klopp and now Slot. Liverpool have less draws than Chelsea this season, who are apparently going to win the title. Calma. We have 3 draws in 15 games. Calma. He's back for Everton. There you go. Need Trent to step up though. We took the pit. Yeah, Trent was so poor against Fulham. If his head's at the Bernabeu against Getafe, go. I don't want to be carrying a guy who's not 100% committed through this season, because we've got a real chance to do something. A real chance to do something, and if he's not committed and he's making mistakes and fuck-ups like that, I've got no time for that in this team. He's not saying ability, but Kante and Caicedo has similar characteristics in ball winning. Yeah, they play in a similar way. I can understand that. I think Kante covered a bit more ground. But ultimately, I think... Maybe it's just the way I put Kante. Kante, for me, was about as perfect a defensive midfielder when he played there as you could get. He was about as perfect a defensive midfielder as you could get. I don't think Caicedo is. I think Kante was about as all-round as you could get. I don't think he is. I don't think Caicedo is. That's not me saying Caicedo is shit. That's just me saying how highly I rate Thingy. What's it called? N'Golo Kante. So, I just think that comparing Caicedo to Kante at this point is way too eager, way too early. N'Golo Kante was the best defensive midfielder on the planet for about 2 years. The best defensive midfielder in the league till Fabinho's second season. And that was 15, 16, 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19. 4 years straight, N'Golo Kante was the best defensive midfielder in the Premier League. Caicedo just hasn't hit that yet. Regardless of if he plays in a similar way, he just doesn't do it as well. That's my point. That's why I wouldn't compare them. Tom would just put Gravenberch with a 2018 version of Fabinho. Why one or the other? Let's enjoy them both. That would be your perfect pivot. That'd be your perfect pivot. But honestly, God. I don't know. Because I don't know how Fabinho would look in a slot team. So I'm just going to cop out. I'm going to do a Callum Sanderson and sit on the fence and say, I don't know. I can see it arguing both ways. Need to see a good performance soon. I like winning ugly, but good performances need to start happening. Put it this way. I think there's a big overreaction in regards to the level of performance. 4 games ago, Liverpool beat Manchester City 2-0 in the greatest performance we've had against a Pep Guardiola Manchester City team. The game before that, we dismantled Real Madrid 2-0 with one of the best performances we've ever had against a top European side. Then you had Southampton, which wasn't great. Then before that, you had 2-0 against Aston Villa, 4-0 against Leverkusen, 1-0 against Leipzig, where you were in control for the entire fucking game, 2-1 against Chelsea, where despite Chelsea gave us a good game, I still felt we were good in that game. If you want to go off the last 3 games, Newcastle wasn't a great performance. Girona wasn't a great performance. Fulham was. Fulham was a very good performance, marred by the fact we had to do it with 10 men. If we had 11 men, I think we win that game, and we're looking at it differently. That's what I'm saying. I feel like we need to again calm it down. We've had 2 bad games in the past 8 in terms of a performance level. It's not the end of the world. Do you think we can convince FSG to spend it, seeing the Salah contract situation pressure worked? I think we will spend... I just think we'll operate the same way we have done in January every year. If we see the right opportunity come about, we'll take it. Do I agree with it? Not necessarily, but I don't disagree with it either. I don't want us to panic and spend money on a guy who isn't the right fit. It's hard to buy players in January. If Liverpool panic and try and get someone in who doesn't work out, it might do more damage than good. I just want us to work in the way that... Again, it goes back to what I said in the summer. I wanted these guys in for a reason. Their track record for transfers is exceptional. I need to give them the opportunity to showcase that and not argue about every little thing. Gravenberch just gliding through opponents midfield like hot knife through butter. I don't know how to explain it. I just don't remember seeing anything like it. We certainly haven't seen anything like it at Liverpool. Not in the way that he does it, not with the elegance that he does it, because Gerrard used to power through midfields. Coutinho used to skill his way through midfields. Gravenberch just takes about 3 touches and he's throughout the pitch. But it's not like physical. He's not like battering people out the way. He's just... There you go. I'm 30 yards up the pitch now. I'm taking it through 2 players. Enjoy. It's mad. What do you think of Andy Robertson? Is it time to move on? I don't think it's... It's time to move on from Andy Robertson being Liverpool's first choice left back. But I don't think it's time to move on from him being at the football club. I think there's 2 different things. I think Andy Robertson should no longer be Liverpool's first choice left back. But I do think Andy Robertson still has a part to play at the football club. I really do. I expect a win versus Southampton and a statement versus Spurs. I just expect us to keep doing what we're doing. Keep plodding along. I think you're going to see a rotated team against Southampton. I think you're going to see a couple of kids get starts and stuff. And I think we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. If we play like we did against Fulham, against Tottenham, and we don't lose a player in the first 15 minutes, we will beat Tottenham. I'm confident of that. Slot needs to trust Endo's Gravenberch rotation. This I do agree with. You have to use the squad. Ryan Gravenberch will blow on his arse sooner rather than later, because it's just simply not reasonable for a guy to play every minute of every game. And I understand that Arne Slot doesn't necessarily rate Wataru Endo, but tough shit. He's there. You're going to have to use him. And I felt that, hindsight's a wonderful thing. Obviously, we needed Gravenberch in that game for what happened. But before the game started, I said that if you're going to play Wataru Endo in any game, Fulham is the kind of game you play him in. One where you need a physical guy in the middle to just get stuck in against physical guys in their midfield. Thoughts on the Richie link? Never watched them, so I couldn't tell you. I don't go out my way to watch Torino. I think as soon as we get Canate back, we'll go on a winning run. Again, though, we're saying this. Joe Gomez is a good option. You've got to bear in mind, the games that we've dropped points in, one of them we had to play Quansah at right back, and the other one we lost a defender inside the first 15 minutes. The games where we've had a settled back 4 with Joe Gomez and Van Dijk at centre back, Liverpool have won both of them with clean sheets. So I'm not necessarily set. Again, having Canate back will be massive. He's been one of the best centre backs on the planet this season. But Joe Gomez is an able option and does not make us worse defensively. The problem is when you're having to chop and change because other options just simply aren't available. At least one of the 4 spots, left back, DM, striker or centre back, for depth has to be addressed in January, regardless of the context or anything. It'll be a disgrace if we don't do anything. I'll be disappointed if we don't do any business in January, but I don't want us to do Kabak business in January. I don't want us to do Ben Davies business in January. I want us to buy the right person, if you get me. Because what you got to understand is, if we buy a left back in January, we're not buying one in the summer. This left back is that left back signing. So if we panic and go and buy a 15 million quid left back and he's shit, Liverpool are stuck with that shit 15 million quid left back. That's why it's got to be the right signing. Do I wish it could be different? Do I wish we could go and buy someone in January, and if they don't work out, sell them and buy someone else? Yes. But I just don't think that's how this football club works. So you've got to bear that in mind and adjust your expectations to that. Would I like us to buy someone in January? Yes. Would I be disappointed if we don't buy someone in January? Yes. Do I want us to go out and buy the first name that's available in January? No. No. I only want us to buy in January if it is the complete right option. Even if it means I have to pay a little bit more for them. But people, I am going to wrap this up here. Been a good chat. I'd like to think that I've sourced out the heads of a couple of people who are overreacting, in my opinion. At the end of the stream, you're going to go straight over to Footy Judgment, where I will be on the Rational League discussing Arsenal dropping points to Everton, which is also a big reason why the result is a positive for us, because the teams around us, bar Chelsea, drop points. We're going to be talking about the Manchester derby, and we're going to be talking about the Liverpool game, obviously. Also at 6 PM today, I'll be live on the Football Terrace for the Top 6 show. And who knows, you might even get another stream off me this week. Who knows? It might just be your lucky week, people, and you might get another stream off me. But I'm gonna call it there, people. Love yous, leave yous. If you're new already and you're not already, make sure that like button and that subscribe button. Turn on notification bell so you don't miss any more content. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on TikTok. The works. You've seen it all on the screen here. Let me know what you think about this little overlay thing as well. If you like it, what things you'd like to see on it, etc., etc. Love yous, leave yous. In a bit. To raw people, to raw.